There you are driving down the road and all of a sudden something you weren't expecting happens right in front of you. You have to slam on your brakes and you wince hoping all is well, and then at a full stop you open your eyes and you see the person who was so wrapped up in their own thoughts that they walked into the street without looking both ways is still standing. Or that dog that suddenly ran into the street lives to run another day. You pat yourself on the back having done an amazing job stopping your car. The person you should thank is Gabriel Voisin, the man who invented anti-lock braking systems, otherwise known as A.B.S. Anti-lock braking systems, or A.B.S., is one of the most invaluable pieces of automotive technology and safety. But even though the technology has been around in one form or another for over 100 years, it was one of the last safety features to be mandated as standard equipment by the government. It's completely understandable. I mean, the average driver probably wouldn't even know whether their car had A.B.S. or not, at least under normal braking conditions. At its core, anti-lock braking systems, more commonly referred to as anti-lock brakes, have one job: to maximize the grip of your tires under hard braking. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, but wait, what do my tires have to do with my brakes? Good question. If your brakes lock under heavy braking, see the word anti-lock? Your tires will begin to slip and lose their grip on the road, greatly reducing the ability of your car's brakes to bring your car to a stop. Basically, at that point, you're going for a ride. How the A.B.S. system does this is pretty cool. All brakes have a limit or threshold where they can apply maximum braking force without locking up. Racing drivers are able to control the brake pedal right at the limit to get the most out of their brakes under ideal racing conditions. For people like you and me, we most likely never experience ideal conditions when the time comes that we need to apply maximum braking while at speed. This is the point where anti-lock brakes come in. Under heavy braking, such as an emergency or poor road conditions, such as snow, ice, rain, while the driver applies a constant pressure to the brake pedal itself, the system modulates the pressure hundreds of times a second at the braking surface to ensure that while the vehicle begins to slow, the wheels don't suddenly lock and start to skid. In the early 1920s, a French aviation engineer by the name of Gabriel Voisin noted that it was very difficult for pilots to utilize the maximum potential of their brakes upon landing. He noticed that if pilots attempted to hold the brakes right at the threshold to increase braking while slowing the plane, they would often cause the wheels to lock and skid. That's actually kind of scary. He developed what's considered to be the first implementation of A.B.S. brakes in the early 20th century. His A.B.S. braking system, utilizing flywheels and valves, improved the efficiency by 30%, and pilots were able to apply the brakes fully and allow the system to compensate. This also had the added benefit of reducing tire damage after each landing. In the automotive world, it took a few more decades before the technology was cost-effective and refined enough to be brought to market. While there were some early attempts on prototype vehicles and systems that only applied to the rear wheels, for example, the first car to have A.B.S. brakes as we know them today was the 1978 Mercedes S-Class with its four-wheel multi-channel A.B.S. brakes, ushering in a new era of vehicle safety. As technological diffusion spread throughout the rest of the automotive industry, more and more brands began offering this technology on various models. By the 1990s, it was becoming much more common amongst all brands. Lincoln was the first to make A.B.S. brakes standard across its entire line. And I mean, even my '97 Golf GTI had A.B.S. So you can imagine our surprise when we found out the last new car you could buy without A.B.S. as a standard option. Before we move on, when do you think this car came out? Pause the video and drop us a comment and hit the like button, as you might be just as surprised as we were. Let's start with the year. Maybe you guessed the 1990s. So did we, and we were wrong. Early 2000s? Wrong again. It turns out the last car to come without A.B.S. as a standard option was the 2010 Chevy Cobalt. Its replacement, the Chevy Cruze, which launched in the US the following year, was equipped with A.B.S. as a standard option across all trim levels, probably as a response ahead of the impending 2013 mandate. Like many onboard vehicle systems today, if the system detects a fault, it can alert you via a warning light on the dashboard. While you can still drive your car with an A.B.S. fault, it's a good idea to check your vehicle trouble codes and get any repaired as soon as possible. You can check them yourself with an inexpensive code scanner. I've linked the one I use in the description below. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Quick as Possible. Be sure to hit that like button if you liked our video, drop us a comment or maybe a suggestion of what you'd like to see us cover in a future episode of Quick as Possible. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming future videos. I'm Alfred for Crooked Mustache. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.